So, Miss Ryder told you that Parker was missing.
Actually, as I remember it, yes, that is true. At some point, Ryder claimed her child had gone off. And but as I remembered, I'm the one who began to question her about where her child is. And at first, she couldn't give me any answers. She also seemed incredibly nervous. She was saying a lot. She was not happy to be talking to me about where her child was, especially considering since she had made no attempts to alert authorities or talk to anyone, knowing her daughter had been missing for at least 12 hours at that point.
Well, after Miss Ryder told you that her daughter was missing, you directed your officers to arrest her.
That is not the reason that I directed my officers to arrest her.
The reason is actually because you assumed that she was in violation of her parole.
Objection, Your Honor. I ask that my witness be allowed to finish her answer.
Overruled.
Yes, Your Honor.
You assumed that she was in violation of her parole.
I did not assume she was in violation of parole. Miss Ryder was in violation of her parole.
Actually, the only reason you suspected her being in violation of parole is because she said that she was afraid she was in violation.
No, that's not true. I had looked her up, as we previously discussed, in the system before coming over to the campground, and I had seen that she was currently on parole. Part of those parole terms is that she cannot leave Midland Center without alerting a parole officer.
But did you ever contact the actual parole officer to see if she was in violation of her parole?
Not in that moment, no. I
So
did not
you're-
have time to do that.
Are you saying that at any point in your investigation you contacted Miss Ryder's parole officer to see if she was actually in violation of her parole?
I did not.
So you didn't actually confirm if she was even in violation of her parole before you arrested her.
I did not have time to confirm that she was actually in violation of her parole.
So you sent her away back to the station,
Yes.
and you had her to be interrogated, not interviewed, as you said on direct.
I am the one who conducted the interrogation. I didn't have her be interrogated. I'm the one who conducted that.
I know, but on direct you mentioned that you simply interviewed Miss Ryder, but you actually interrogated her.
Yes, interrogation is a type of interview.
But it's not the same. You interviewed Ms. Rodriguez, you interviewed Kelly Dews, but you interrogated formally Ms. Ryder.
Yes, and one of the reasons that I decided to do the interrogation is because Jordan Ryder seemed very reluctant to give me information when I initially talked to her. She also had already expressed that she did not call 911 and she seemed very unwilling to talk to me about the whereabouts of her child. Considering she was the parent of the child, it was clear that she would most likely have the most information about the child.
Now, you were on the Chrome Loop that day, correct?
Yes, I was.
Your Honor, permission to approach the witness with a copy of Exhibit 6, or Exhibit 9.
You may.
Approaching opposing counsel. Approaching Detective Chesney.
Thank you.
Would you like to approach with a copy, Your Honor?
You may. Thank you.
I just handed you a copy of the Chrome Loop,
Yes.
and that's,
This is a picture of the number.
it's a picture of the Chrome Loop.
Yes.
That's a fair and accurate representation of the picture.
Yes.
Your Honor, the defense offers Exhibit 9 as evidence, noting for the court that all objections to this document have been waived prior to trial.
Is this your understanding?
Yes, Your Honor.
It's so moved.
Now, I want to talk a little bit more about how you began a report. So you began a report on July 15th at 7:30, correct?
Yes.
And when you were arriving to Calkins Campground, you already had a suspect in mind.
No, I did not.
Well, you never considered that Parker's death may have been accidental.
I had no knowledge at that time that Parker was dead. At this point, we were looking for a missing child and hoping she was alive. I had no idea that she was dead at that point.
You immediately blame Miss Ryder for Parker Page being missing.
I did not blame her for being missing. I arrested her for a parole violation.
Well, after you arrested her at 5:30 on July 15th, you actually charged her with felony and aggravate for kidnapping and for murder.
I'm sorry, 5:30.
On July 15th, the same day that you started your investigation, on July 15th at
Yes.
5:30, you charged Miss Ryder with kidnapping and felony murder.
I did not charge her. I suggested a warrant to my superiors after I had collected evidence to suggest that Miss Ryder was guilty of involuntary manslaughter during a felony.
But you didn't submit that charge for involuntary manslaughter at first. At first it was aggravated murder, correct?
No, that is not correct.
Your Honor, permission to approach the witness with her report.
You may.
declaration of opposing counsel.
What ones are you referring to?
Approaching the witness with a copy of her report. Now you remember preparing a report for today's case.
Yes, I do.
On that very last page, it's your signature.
Yes, it is.
I knew that both parties would rely on your report and did today in court.
Yes, I do.
And as a police officer, you're supposed to reply all relevant information, correct?
Yes, that's true.
So if I could have you turn to page 7 and look at, or page 6, and, 7, I'm sorry about that. And if you could follow along while I read out loud. At 7:15:18 at 18:10 hours, Deputy Prosecuting Attorney Norman assisted me in swearing out and presenting a warrant for Ryder's arrest to Magistrate Eisenberg, who approved said warrant charging with kidnapping and felony murder. I read that correctly.
Yes, you did.
It doesn't say involuntary manslaughter.
So as I explained earlier, felony murder is because at the time we had evidence to suggest that Jordan Ryder was committing the felony of kidnapping the child, since the child was not in her legal custody. The legal guardian had no awareness of her taking Parker to Calkins Campground. So she was committing the felony of kidnapping, is what I had believed and why I suggested that warrant. And then involuntary manslaughter was the murder aspect of the felony murder charge.
I'm not asking you to explain yourself on the stand. I'm asking if I read that it says felony murder, and it does.
Yes, and Counselor, you said aggravated murder before. I did not suggest a warrant for aggravated murder.
It says felony murder though, does it?
And I just explained what felony murder is.
I'll come get that back from you.
Objection, Your Honor, this time to improper impeachment as no contradiction has been elicited from the witness.
What Midland's rule of evidence is improper impeachment, counsel?
It's the, Your Honor, the state does not have a specific rule for improper impeachment. Simply in the Midlands rules, for a witness to be impeached, there has to be a contradiction elicited for that impeachment.
Do you have a response, counsel?
Yes, Your Honor. I believe the legal basis that counsel is trying to get this improper impeachment under is hearsay, but there was a clear contradiction that was shown. Detective Chesney just stated that she did involuntary manslaughter when I asked her if that's the initial warrant charge that she requested, but in fact it was felony murder.
Considering the grounds of the objection are not within this state's jurisdiction, vote overruled.
Yes, Your Honor.
You began your report on July 15th,
Yes,
and you finished it on July 28th.
yes,
Now that's just 2 weeks later.
yes, that's correct. It was 2 weeks later.
And that entire time, the only person you blamed was Miss Ryder.
The only person I blamed was Miss Ryder.
Yes.
You,
The only person you considered a suspect or you considered involved in the death of Parker Page was Miss Ryder.
that is not true. When I'm talking to people, I think of everyone as a suspect.
So you're saying you considered Armando Rodriguez a suspect?
We don't officially list people as suspects. We talk to as many people as possible, and Jordan Ryder was the only one who had sufficient evidence that concluded that she should receive the charge.
I'm not asking if you listed Armani as a suspect. I'm asking if you considered her a suspect.
Yes, I did.
Did you formally interrogate that suspect?
No, because there was no evidence when I interviewed her, there was no evidence to suggest that a informal interrogation was needed. We don't just pull any person off the street into an interrogation room and interrogate them. It does not work like that.
Well, you also talked to Miss Dews, correct?
Yes.
Did you consider her a suspect?
Yes, but similar to what I said about Armani, there was no evidence to suggest that Kelly Dews had anything to do with the murder. So we do not just pull this random person in and interrogate her. That's not how it works.
Well, Miss Dews actually helped to lead you to the exact location where Parker's body was found.
Yes, because she had seen Jordan Ryder and Parker Page there the day prior.
But you still never formally interrogated Miss Dews.
No, that is not something that I did.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Any redirect?
We do not have time for one, Your Honor. No,
That's correct.
from the state, and at this time, the state rests its case in chief.
You may be excused, Detective Chesney. Is there any break desired by either party at this time?
Yes, Your Honor, brief 5-minute recess.
Yes, sir.